From Wall Street to Main Street, this is LALATE.
It's a major night here on Evenings LA as the markets try to find a and they don't have it. Well, the latest details of the confusion of the markets up, down, over, and around, but no confusion when it turns to stimulus, massive stimulus checks on this broadcast tonight. It's 2023 stimulus checks, A to C, E to K, and L to Q. We're going to go over these monster stimulus checks, the combination of 3 years of stimulus checks in this broadcast. Who are these stimulus checks for? They're for you, SSI. These are stimulus checks for you, Ssdi. These are stimulus checks for anyone who makes less than $75,000. Veterans, low income, SSA. These incredible stimulus checks are paying out on average 18 months, 5 checks per month, $3,000 a month. We'll go over all these incredible checks, A to E, A to C, E to K, and L to Q in this broadcast from the shores of Santa Monica, California. Then we'll be turning to that brand new stimulus check R for my small business owners, the unemployment stimulus, which you're going to need because millions of Americans are getting laid off. In fact, more companies announced layoffs in the last hour. All the breaking news, if it's you, it's coming up in tonight's broadcast. Then we'll go to PEBT stimulus checks. Where do we get all these incredible stimulus checks? In the membership newsletter. Have you become a member? Do it right now. Go right in this video. Join the channel, Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Casino VIP. And go down to that beautiful newsletter. Open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at news.la.com/newsletter and get all those incredible stimulus checks. I'm going to show you how it works in tonight's broadcast. This is how the market opened. This is not how the market closed. What went on and what went wrong. We're going to go over the latest rally and why it did not formulate by the end of the market. Then we'll go over the Fed governors talking tomorrow and talking minutes ago. And then Thursday, labor numbers, Friday, and all this week corporate earnings. But big news, big money. Massive stimulus for you, SSI. Big stimulus checks for you, Ssdi. Big stimulus checks for you, SSA. Big stimulus checks for you, veterans. Big stimulus checks for you, low income. Big stimulus checks for you, small business owners. And big stimulus checks for you. Unfortunately, if you're fired since after the show, I'm not hiring, but I have a stimulus check for you in tonight's broadcast. Nor is Mitch, but I don't think you want to work there either. In this broadcast, we're going to go over all these stimulus checks, plus the brand new stimulus check R. It's all massive stimulus. It's for you, and these are great stimulus checks. While the latest details on the markets and where we ended, become a member and get ready for the broadcast that everyone is talking about. It's the most watched show in prime time for financial news, and it all starts right here, right now, on a big new Evenings LA. And good evening, everybody. 2023 has a great year for stimulus. Why? Because of the combination of 3 years of stimulus checks, unemployment, small business owners, and stimulus checks for you, SSI, Ssdi, Social Security and Rural Benefits. Well, how do you get them? In the membership newsletter. Where do you get them? In this video. And I'm going to go over all this incredible details in this broadcast tonight from the shores of Santa Monica, California. This is how the market started the day. It's not the way it ended. While the latest details on the rally that did not formulate, at least on the Dow today, the Fed governors overnight, the Fed governors tomorrow, the labor numbers, and also those corporate earnings that impact your wallet. Massive stimulus heats up this broadcast, and we're going to go over all that incredible stimulus starting right now. What's important to understand is that for 2023, we have the combination of 3 years of incredible stimulus checks. And these are stimulus checks A to B, C to E, all the way up to L and Q. And let's go over all these incredible stimulus checks starting right now. The first 3 checks, stimulus check A, B, and C, became law when Joe Biden passed them. And why 2023 is a great year for stimulus? Because the combination of many, many different years of stimulus checks. Let's go over those incredible stimulus checks right now. ABC, done by Joe Biden, $100,000. These are stimulus checks for you, SSI, Ssdi, veterans, low income, all Americans, all U.S. states. and U.S. territories, $100,000 in those first 3 checks. They're incredible. I'm going to go over all these incredible checks in this broadcast tonight. Then came Congress and they passed more checks, E through K. I'm going to go over those checks thereafter. Again, it's the same eligibility from A, B, C, all the way to E to K. Whether it's the president's A, B, and C, or the ones from Congress, E through K, you qualify. Then I found you more checks, L and M, N and O, P and Q. And what's important to understand is that these checks are paying out a lot of money and a lot of months. You need lots of months because you're going to have a 2-year recession. 24-month recession, 5 checks per month, $3,000 a month. That's what you need. And we so far have 18 months of incredible stimulus checks. A to C, E to K, and L to Q without a delay. Let's go over all these incredible stimulus checks. How do you get them? You watch this broadcast. I'm going to go over each check with you. Then you go into this video, become a member right now. Do not wait. Join the channel, Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Calcino VIP. Get that beautiful emoji behind your name. And then go right into that newsletter and start grabbing these incredible stimulus checks. I'll explain it to you in this broadcast. Get ready to become a member and get ready to listen, learn, and change your financial future through this recession. 2023 stimulus is great because a combination of 3 years of stimulus checks, 2021, 2022, and more. Let's go over those first 3 checks, A, B, and C, from Joe Biden, starting right now. Those first 3 checks are a lot of money. Check A is a $6,500 to $12,000 stimulus check. Yes, $6,500 to $12,000 stimulus check. How do you get it? You join this channel, become a member. You're watching LA, the #1 most watched financial news channel in prime time for nearly a year. #1 overall for this subject matter, and #3 for overall for all financial subject matters. Go right in this video, become a member, and get that incredible stimulus check A, like Spelly did. So many countless other viewers did as well, like Kimberly. And then go under this video and not only become a member, go in that newsletter, but get stimulus check B. Why does viewers and myself love stimulus check B? Because this is the one that's helping you get 18 months of stimulus checks on average. Let's be very frank with what we're dealing with this economy. What we're dealing with this economy is a potential 24-month recession. The lockdown, the pandemic was not 24 months, folks. It was a few weeks, a few months. And that's why you need massive stimulus checks. B is the one that helps viewers get so many months of checks. And B is for rent and also for owners, so it's all for you. 18 months of stimulus checks, fast stimulus, $3,000 a month on average, 5 checks per month on average. That's why stimulus check B is the big winner, fast stimulus. Get it right tonight and get it like Frank Mancuso got. He got 18 months of checks, right in less than 30 days of becoming a member. 18 months of many months checks per month. That is nearly 100 checks over that duration. It's incredible. That's how you rock and roll. That is stimulus check B, and you deserve all these incredible stimulus across the board. You want to get all these incredible stimulus checks right tonight. We're going to go over how to do it in this recording tonight, but let's now go over the next check in that membership newsletter, which is stimulus check C. Stimulus check C is for rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, and more. And there's nothing more important than stimulus check C is how many months it's paying out as well. Stimulus check C, let's look at it right now. Go down under the video, join the channel, become a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Calcino VIP. Go into the membership newsletter at Check C. It tells you who to call, what to say, and how to say it. Because at Check C, you got a lot of money. Reach out to all 12 places because you're going to get a yes. You also get a no. 50% approval rating, 50% rejection rating. There's a lot of money at Check C. And that's why you want to make all the respective reach out calls for incredible Check C, which is for rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, more. How much money can you get? Let's look at those numbers right now. For rent, $30,000 of rent. Do you want $30,000 of rent? Of course you do. Become a member to LALATE. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Calcino VIP. Become a member right now and get those beautiful numbers for rent from Elizabeth all the way to Nisi. What about utilities? Well, look at this graphic. Mark at 6,500, but his brother got 15,000. Lynn Glenn got 14 months of utilities and 12 months of rent. Then she helped her friends and family get more money as well. Great job, Lynn Glenn. And here is combinations of checks. Nisi's at 23,000. She went to 50,000. Mark was at 32,000. He went to 166,000. He initially went to 50, then 100, then 166. And here's Lorraine. She was at 105. Where did she go? to $155,000. These are big sums of money that viewers are getting all the time. And what are other viewers getting across the board as well? They are getting over $170,000 from Stimulus Check C. Become a member. Go around this video. Join the channel. Dragon, congratulations for her $170,000 she has achieved as a triple member to all three channels. We have Johnny, who got 20 friends and neighbors, $250,000. It's just insane. It's happening all the time. Average payout, 18 months. You need 18 months because it could be a 2-year recession, 24 months. I had predicted for over a year. We'll see in less than 30 days from now if I'm right. And $3,000 a month, 5 checks per month. It's incredible. And so far, we're only at A, B, C. We have more checks coming up in just a second. E through K, and then L to Q, and then Stimulus Check R. But first, before we continue, let's look at the beautifulness of a phone ringing. When you forgot to take the phone off set. Let's look at the beautifulness of that membership newsletter. That membership newsletter, and no one ever calls. I'm not desired. Let's look at that beautiful stimulus check. Let's look at that beautiful stimulus check E through K coming up in just a second. But first, let's look at that membership newsletter. That beautiful membership newsletter. It was spam. Not the food, it was the spam call. There's no one ever calls. Why would I worry about a phone on set? Let's look at that beautiful newsletter. The reason why the newsletter works is because you become a member right now. And then you go into that beautiful newsletter right at this minute. Go right in this video, join the channel, Purple Hawk, Purple Power Cow, VIP, viewers on channel 1 or channel 2 or channel 3. Then go right into that newsletter. Initially, the newsletter was delivered from me to you Monday through Friday, 7 o'clock Pacific Standard Time only, via YouTube alerts. But for Christmas 2022, I delivered your Christmas gift on December 23rd. A second location, the location that everyone loves now. Open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's a website, and the website's around the screen. I put all the stimulus check applications for you in that website, so you can become a member right now while watching this video. And then go right into that beautiful newsletter right now. Grab the password. I'm going to go over all this with you later in this video. And go right in, start applying for those incredible checks. You don't have to wait for anything. Moreover, you don't even have to write down the address of the newsletter website, because I put on the top of the chat the pin comment and also the description of the video. I do everything for you. And now it's time for me to show you more stimulus checks, E through K. And those beautiful stimulus checks, E through K, are absolutely huge. So again, these are the checks from Congress, and they keep on getting better and bigger, bold across the board. Stimulus check E is a beautiful $7,500 stimulus check. Love it. Don't you love it? I do. Then stimulus check F, $4,000. Wow. Stimulus check G is a beautiful 30% off. Stimulus check H, $2,000. Stimulus check I, $8,000. J, $8,000. And K, $14,000. It keeps on getting better. And the breaking news on all the stimulus checks continues right now as we continue through stimulus checks E through K, your economy, your recession, your inflation, your benefit raises, and of course, your housing market. The breaking news on all your stimulus continues right now as we move through stimulus checks E through K. Let's go over to these incredible stimulus checks E through K more in detail right now. But first up, let's continue with L and M. L is $100,000 an average of loan industry money. M is $4,000 of beautiful checks. How do you get these? All in the membership newsletter. Go into the video, join this channel, and become a member right today. Then we have Stimulus Check N, which is a gorgeous brand new tablet, computer, or laptop, free internet. Yeah, you heard me right. Stimulus Check O, which is 0 down payment, 0 closing costs on a brand new mortgage. And then Stimulus Check P and Q. P is a whopping 3% refi, and Q is an $8,000 stimulus check. Just absolutely wonderful. And so far we have done stimulus checks ABC from Joe Biden. We have done stimulus checks E through K from Congress. And then we did stimulus checks L through Q that I found for you across the board. We got more stimulus checks coming up in this broadcast. Again, these are 2023 stimulus checks. Next up is stimulus check R. Unemployment, PEBT stimulus checks. But let's turn over to that membership newsletter right now. So how does this work, LALATE? The minute you become a member, which you do right now, you go into this video, join the channel, Purple Hawk, Purple Power Cow, VIP, you immediately get a beautiful emoji of a Purple Hawk behind your name. Then you don't have to wait to get that newsletter. Now that newsletter is at a website as a second home. And you don't even have to write down the name of the website. Because I put in the description, top of the chat, and pin comment. It's right there. Click the link and go right into that website. It's news.lalate.com/newsletter. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. What a brilliant idea. This is what viewers wanted. This is what I wanted. I don't have to send you the newsletter, although I still do it on the original format, 7 o'clock Pacific Standard Time via YouTube alerts. This website is the second format. It's open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Holidays, every vacation. Yeah, it's open all the time. So what do? You go in the video, become a member, then go into the membership post on your YouTube channel that you're a member from, 1, 2, or 3, and grab the password from the most recent post, whatever that password is, and go right into the newsletter, which is a password-protected, members-only website, and put that password in, and whammo, you're ready to get some beautiful stimulus checks. So start with that beautiful stimulus check A, and B, and then C, E through K, L to Q. Keep on getting as many stimulus checks as you can. That's why viewers are winning. Try to get it 18 months, 5 checks per month, $3,000 across the board. You're doing a great job. Keep on doing. Now remember, these beautiful checks A through Q are for you. SSI, go get your stimulus check. Ssdi, go get it. Veterans, go get it. Low income, go get it. Anyone who makes $75,000 less, go get it. Here are some things I want to go over with you so you remember when you're doing stimulus for 2023. First, it's a great year for stimulus because the combination of stimulus from 2020, 21, and 2022 that never expired, over $500 million of money. Number 2, we got stimulus checks for almost everyone. We got stimulus checks for A to Q. For you, SSI, SSDI, low income, $75,000 less, married couple, $150,000 less. I got stimulus checks for children coming up in a second. I have stimulus checks for employees coming up in a second. I have stimulus checks for business owners coming up in a second. I have stimulus for a lot of different subject matters. And it's just so heartwarming because it's the totality of this channel coming right back to day one. This is how this channel started, when there was stimulus for all different types of walks of life all at the same time. And it's happening again. This stimulus check's for Americans. Doesn't matter what state you live in or what U.S. territory, it's for Americans. So get it across the board. Don't ask, when is the stimulus check coming to people with purple shirts? This is not dependent on the church you're wearing. It's dependent on the United States that you're living in, and that is it. Now let's go to unemployment stimulus, which is very big for 2023. Why? Let's go over what happened just the last 15 minutes. I mean, breaking news? Yes, absolutely breaking news. In the last 15 minutes, and I'm not being facetious, it's literally the last 15 minutes, Goldman Sachs, the well-funded, well-oiled, well-profitable investment bank of many, many years, fired 3,200 employees. Just in the last 15 minutes. This comes on top of the 26,000 Amazon and Salesforce employees fired on Friday, and the warnings coming from Macy's and potentially also McDonald's on Friday. This accounts for more workforce employees being laid off by the firm in just recent weeks. Goldman Sachs so far has continued to fire employees. This current firing is 6.5% of its entire workforce. Which is below the 8% reported last month, and is at the upper end of possible cuts. So there could be more cuts coming to Goldman Sachs. Again, another 3,200 employees fired by Goldman Sachs today. If you missed any of the broadcasts of the weekend, which if you did, you keep it yourself because I'm not going to be happy. It comes on the heels of 26,000 employees, W-2s, fired over the weekend or fired on Friday night, and they got the news on the weekend. And those are employees at Amazon and employees at another major company. They got their pink slips over the weekend. Not particularly good that this is happening all the time, and this is why you have to get all the stimulus across the board. What's at issue is that this is happening all the time, and if people keep on getting let go, then what does that mean for you in this economy? It means you can't risk the situation at all. You gotta know how unemployment stimulus works. And with that, let's go into the details of this unemployment stimulus right tonight. And we start with understanding where unemployment stimulus comes from and how it works, and also understanding what this market has for us later this week. We're going to see more labor numbers on Thursday as new jobless claims and numbers are announced, and also continuing long-term unemployment numbers as well. But let's go into what we're looking at right now for unemployment stimulus. 2 steps. Step 1 for unemployment stimulus is getting that claim filed. So the first thing you do is you go to your state's Department of Unemployment and file that claim. And that's step one. Then in step two, you want to go in and answer a series of questions. So let's do each of these steps one at a time. Step one for unemployment. What date were you fired as a W-2 employee? In this example, it's October 1st, so answer October 1st. Two other questions in step one. Willing to work? Yes. Able to work? Yes. Done. Claim is approved. It's that easy. Remember, don't mess with the date you were fired as a W-2 employee. And when asked, are you willing to work? Yes. Able to work? Yes. Because that's a physical and a mental question. You're done. The claim is approved. But step two is getting more checks. And how many checks? A check every week that you are unemployed. So let's go over the details of how this works starting right now. The concept of unemployment is to pay you for the weeks that you were unemployed as a fired W-2 employee, just for the week in which you were unemployed. And you can get paid even though at another month of the year, you eventually get a job. Let's use the following facts setup in this recording. Had a job in September, W-2. October 1st, fired, W-2. Unemployed, whole month of October 2022. Unemployed November. Unemployed December. Then January 1, 2023, got a new job at a different business. Found this recording in April of 2023. Can I still go back and get those unemployment checks for the week of October, November, December that I was unemployed, even though I later got a job in January somewhere else? Yes. Can I still get it even though I'm watching a recording in April? It's been months since I was unemployed. Absolutely. So in step two, it's going to ask you to certify for weekly benefits, which is a fancy way of saying I want a check for each respective week. Go get it across the board. PEBT stimulus is heating up this broadcast as well. And what is that? That is for what happened again in 2020. Millions of American children were in school and were not getting paid enough money or were staying at home because of the pandemic. Well, guess what happens? They're getting more PEBT stimulus checks. And we'll have more about those in a standalone video coming in the next few days. In some cases, it's over $600 in those states. Finally, not only do we have stimulus for SSI, Ssdi, Social Security, low income, individuals make $75,000 or less, married couple. Not only do we have stimulus for employees and children, that is the unemployment stimulus we just went over, and PEBT, we also have stimulus checks now for businesses. And this brings us all the way back to the very first week of this channel, when all the stimulus is all happening at the same time. It's the new Stimulus Check R. Stimulus Check R is an insane amount of money. And if you are a small business owner and were a small business owner in 2019, listen up, because this is your day for a lot of money. Stimulus Check R is in the membership newsletter. It's called the Employee Tax Retention Credit. Reach out to Tax Preparer and go down that membership newsletter at Stimulus Check R. How much is it and what is it based upon? It's based upon the simple concept that you should be paid by the federal government for keeping your employees on staff after the pandemic hit. The analysis is very simple. Did you have an employee in 2019 before the pandemic hit? Answer yes. Then what happens when the pandemic hit? If you kept them on staff in 2020 and kept them on staff in 2021, you're going to get paid $26,000 per employee. You heard me right. So if it's 10 employees, it's $250,000. If it's 20 employees, it's $500,000. It's an insane amount of money. It harkens back to the very first days of this channel with the PPP, the EIDL grant, and the EIDL loan. It's everything we had hoped for, and it's a reality tonight. Suddenly, unemployment stimulus, which was day one of this channel, business stimulus, which was day one of this channel, and stimulus checks for everyone, which is day one of this channel, are all back on, baby. I didn't make this up. I didn't create this. I didn't invent this. I didn't advocate for this. It just happened. Why? Because the combination of all these incredible years of stimulus checks all at the same time. Become a member and get all these incredible stimulus checks throughout this broadcast across the board. Now, here's what you need to know when doing stimulus for 2023, and a lot of things you need to know across the board. First, don't make stimulus more complicated than it is. In the case of A to Q, stimulus checks are very simple. Did you make $75,000 or less last year? You did? You made less than 75? Then that's you. Go get A to Q. If you're a renter, if you're a homeowner, well, in the case of homeowner, that's A. And everyone else, for renters, it's everything. Well, let me say that again. If you're a homeowner, it includes A. And if you're a renter, it does not include A. But renters have everything else. And so do homeowners across the board. If you're a small business owner, add in there stimulus check R. If you're unemployed people, add in there the unemployment stimulus. Imagine all the incredible stimulus we had ever hoped for returning back to this channel has returned. Stimulus checks for you, SSI. Stimulus checks for you, SSDI. SSA, railroad benefits, veterans benefits, low income. What's important to understand is that Congress has always worked the same way. They are legislators. Their job is to legislate, to pass laws. Their job is not to tell you what they're doing or what laws they pass. They're not a news organization. They're not press agents. So they pass a law. It's your job to learn about it. If you don't know about it, you don't get it. That's why this channel launched on day one. Viewers have never heard about the EIDL or the EIDL grant or the EIDLO. Maybe even now you never even heard about it. They never heard about the PPP or the eviction moratorium and the mortgage forbearance. They never heard about these things. That's why this channel launched. How do I get it? What do I do? How do I get it? Show me, LA. Show me how I do this. Show me how I do that. And that's what I'm doing right now. It's a show me show where I show you how to get the money. Again, they're not sending these automatically to you for doing nothing. The days of the donut guy are long gone. These are the days of 2020 back on the channel. This is how stimulus started in 2020. This is how stimulus is right tonight across the board. You need to pounce. And the great thing is that is very, very easy. And you're doing a great job. I'm doing all the work for you. In fact, I'm doing even more than I ever did before because I put all of it together in the membership newsletter. You no longer have to look for these things. You no longer have to listen atutely to a video, although I hope you would. You could just sort of listen to the video and then sort of go into the membership newsletter and sort of just start doing it across the board. And you don't even have to write down the address of the membership newsletter. You just grab it, get that finger ready to go right to where it's at the top of the chat, the pinned comment, go right in there, grab the password for the most recent post on your channel, and go in and start getting stimulus. Wow, this is incredible. Largest stimulus check from ADQ, 100,000. Smallest stimulus check, 8,000. Fastest routing time, 2 days. Johnny started on Monday. By Wednesday, he had 45,000. By the end of the week, he got $250,000 for his friends and families, and at the end of the month. And then he got 50,000 for his mom and dad as well. We got rent checks, utilities checks, mortgage checks, home repairs, home appliances, the utilities, the car, the computer, the tablet. Lots of great stimulus. That's ADQ. And then we got small business. We got unemployment stimulus. We got stimulus checks for children. Lots of stimulus. Again, these are for Americans. You live in American states. And the donut guy is getting nothing in 2023. He got nothing in 2022. He got nothing in 2023. It's very easy to get the stimulus. This is how stimulus started in 2020. It's how it is tonight. So become a member. You deserve it. And you want to be cautious. Today we learned on the show and throughout the broadcast of this day that Wall Street is not assessing risk. What is assessing risk? Making adjustments to how you're living or investing based upon the risk on the horizon. Here's an example. I'm thinking of living at this particular street near the water, but this is a street where the hill falls into the ocean. Or I'm thinking of living in this particular community in the Midwest, but that's where tornadoes have flattened the community every 3 years. Do I want my home flattened every 3 years? No, that's a risk I do not want to assess. I just don't even want to take on that risk. Every 3 years, well, that's a very big risk. Wall Street is not assessing risk, and we'll learn why that is the case in the big second half. Let me recap what happened throughout this day before we even get to the second half. Earlier today, we went on air, and the market at sunrise, live on air, on Mornings LA, you saw it with me at the time, the market initially looked like this when I went on air. Then the market went up to 200 points. Afternoons, it went up even more. And look at that NASDAQ, beautiful, 190. And by the middle of the broadcast, by midday, the market was up a lot, astronomical, 2% on both sides, kept on growing. Did anything really happen tonight? No, it was just a rally. That governors are speaking tomorrow. Labor numbers are coming out Thursday. Last week, we had the labor numbers as well in the non-farm payroll report. Was there anything to get the market up so dramatically today? 300 points at one point, or 250, and then 700 points on Friday? No. I'll explain to you why the markets are not assessing risk and why this number changed so dramatically by the end of the day. In fact, let me tell you where it is right now. The market had gone as high as nearly 250, 300 Dow in the middle of the day. It ended today down 112 points. That's a Dow. What a big seesaw. Up 200, down 100. That's a 300-point swing. NASDAQ was up 190, went up to 200. It ended up 60. So that's a big swing as well. And the problem at issue is that they are not assessing risk. You are going to assess a risk. In the big second half, we'll go over the importance of assessing risk for stimulus, assessing risk for the economy, and assessing risk for everything else in between. We'll look forward to what's happening this week. It's a big show and a big broadcast. Get as much stimulus as you can. Remember, 18 months. You need 18 months. $3,000 a month on average, 5 checks per month to get these monies, because a 2-year recession is literally 30 days away. We'll go over all the incredible details and what you need to know in the big second half. I'll see you back in 60 seconds as Evenings LA continues. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues tonight from the shores of Santa Monica, California, as massive stimulus for 2023 is law passed. It's stimulus check A to C, passed from Joe Biden. Then E through K, passed by the Congress. L to Q, then I found for you across the board. These are stimulus checks for you, SSI. Stimulus checks for you, SSDI. Stimulus checks for you, SSA. Stimulus checks for you, low income. These are big stimulus checks. You want them as big as you can get them. Averaging 18 months. You want that because it's going to be a 24-month recession. 5 checks per month, $3,000 a month. You want these incredible sums of money. How do you get them? Go right in this video. Become a member. news.la.com/newsletter. The link to which is under the description of this video, top of the chat, and pinned comment. After you become a member, go right into that membership newsletter instantly and get all these incredible stimulus checks because you assess risk so well. You want to pounce to get as many stimulus checks as you can and quickly as you possibly can because this is what you deserve. Let's look at the markets and let's look and see where we're going this week. So Monday, the rally continued. It was bigger earlier in the day, but it fell apart by the end of the day. Later in the day, one of the Fed governors spoke, more speaking tomorrow. Labor numbers are coming on Thursday, and this whole week we'll see fourth quarter corporate earnings coming on in. But boy, let me tell you what this market saw happening today because it was a little bit messy. It was a lot messy. The markets traded up on Friday on reasons they should not have. They traded up this morning on reasons they should not have. And then suddenly, I kept on saying, what are you doing? This is pure nonsense. And then a very smart analyst went on TV and said, this is pure nonsense. What are you doing? You're clearly ignoring data. In fact, there was a quote that I read on air on afternoons, and I think I read it on mornings. It was actually incorrect, false statement of data. And I'm going to go over all of that right now, and I got to tell you, you don't do that on my watch because you are not assessing risk. And if you don't assess risk, what will happen? You'll be in a big, bad situation. What is assessing risk? Let's go over that right now. Assessing risk is assessing a bad situation on the horizon from an investment standpoint. So let's say you want to move towards the beach. You want to move in front of the beach. And you're looking at a particular property and a tornado has wiped out that block every 3 years. Is that a risky investment? It is a risky investment. What if you're looking at a beautiful farm in the Midwest and a tornado has destroyed that town every 4 years? Risky? Absolutely risky. And what if you're looking at buying a car and the car has a disapproval rating of 8 to 10, meaning that 8 out of 10 people don't like the car? Risky, very risky. So what happened on Friday? Last Friday, the risks were not assessed by the market. In fact, they heard the data and they threw the data out the window. The data last Friday was the non-farm payroll numbers that had a series of data points released in there. And what did the markets do? As soon as they did it on Friday and traded up the Dow 700 darn points, I said they are playing big games. They're not assessing risk. They're playing false narratives, and they're going to hurt their investment portfolio people. Well, they did this morning as well, and they trade up the market up 250 points as well. I said, stop doing this. It's nonsense. And guess what happened? Another analyst said the same thing. In fact, he said a little bit more emphatically than I did. And immediately the market turned the other direction. Do you think they were watching me? I don't know. Let's go over the details of what happened. On Friday, the non-farm payroll number was released. This is a critical number. Why? It's the second most important number of the year. It's released monthly. The first most important number is the CPI, released monthly. Inflation. Inflation will gauge whether the Federal Reserve raises rates or stops raising rates. The second number that will determine what the Federal Reserve does is the unemployment rate. Why? Who are the Federal Reserve? The Federal Reserve are Jay Powell and those Fed governors. They're federal officials, and their job is dual mandate. Two items they got to do all the time: maximum employment and maximum price stability. Maximum employment is the lowest unemployment they can get, and maximum price stability is the lowest inflation they can get. The way they say they do it is if one is not working, they'll hurt the other one a little bit to get the other one work so that they can get both of them working at the same time. Unemployment is working. Unemployment is really working. It's really low. But inflation is really not working. It's really high. It's been 8% for over a year. And last year they said, we're going to keep on raising rates until we get inflation from 8% to 2%. They made it very clear. The only thing they changed in the last 2 weeks was in the latest FOMC minutes released last week. They say we'll get down to a meaningful downward trend towards 2%. It's a little bit slightly different on nuance, but basically has to head to 2%. It's at 8%. So they have a lot to do with it still, right? It's not a good number. Let's go over to the unemployment rate. Unemployment rate is the lowest of a generation. It's a 5.7%. It's even lower than expected. So if that unemployment rate is so low, then what do they obviously do? What they obviously do is they hurt the unemployment to improve the inflation. And if the unemployment is really impressively low, then they can really hurt it a lot, because it's sustaining anything you do against it. It's like Rambo. You do anything to unemployment, it still holds up. It still holds up. Do something to unemployment to fix inflation. Pretty simple, right? That's what they say they're doing. And that's what they've been doing all along. So what happened on Friday? The unemployment numbers release. You know what I'm about to say. If unemployment was strong, meaning it's really low, then that means the Federal Reserve can come in more aggressively. Pretty obvious, yes. This is very basic 101. So that number was released on Friday, and it showed the unemployment rate dropped. Whoa, 5.7. Whoa, lower than expected, 5.9. Wow, impressive. Very basic conclusion here. Federal Reserve is going to stay course and raise interest rates to battle inflation because unemployment is keeping itself low. Very, very basic. This is elementary. This is not even high school. This is grades 1 to 8. There are other numbers released in the Friday number, which were job creation. Job creations were good, better than expected. And there are a few other numbers in there that were better than expected. There was only one number that was weaker than expected, and that is payroll inflation or wage inflation. It came a little bit easier than expected, and that means that wage inflation is improving. All that data, one report, had 5 or 4 inflationary numbers in there. And what do they all show? That all of them were worse with the exception of one. And so what did Wall Street say? Wall Street said, well, that signals the Federal Reserve is going to stop raising rates. Excuse me? You got 5 data points on Friday, and all of them point to the Federal Reserve is going to keep on raising rates, and you use the one data point that says it won't. Yeah, you're playing games with us, aren't you? You're trying to sell us the Brooklyn Bridge for yet another year. You did this all last year, Wall Street 2022. The markets open today, and the markets trade up 200 points initially. And what did one analyst say? And I ran this quote all throughout the day. I don't know if I can grab it on the fly right now, but no, I don't have it right now. But the quote was ridiculous. The quote was the following: the Federal Reserve is now signaling or sending imaging or messaging. It's sort of like telepathic, or, like it's Star Trek, sending or teleporting messaging that they're going to stop raising rates. Excuse me? What are they, a UFO? What is the Federal Reserve, a UFO? They never said that. In fact, they said the opposite. In fact, they said the opposite in the Fed Minutes released last week. They said the latest when Kashari spoke yesterday, and they said later today the same thing. They never said that. So not only is Wall Street now taking data in a basket of bad data and taking one good data point out and say, oh, it's all great. Wrong. Now they're actually making up data. They're not assessing risk. And as soon as I said that on the morning show and the afternoon show, guess what one analyst went on air and say? He's brilliant. He went a little bit deeper and a little bit harder than I said. He said, you know what? They're not assessing risk. And when this market turns to the negative, they're going to be on the wrong side of the equation because they kept on running a false narrative. When they were told exactly by the Federal Reserve, what the Federal Reserve is going to do, Federal Reserve tells you they do what they say they're going to do. And the Wall Street executives are saying, don't believe Jay Powell. He's lying. Let's come up with another narrative. Buy this way, buy that way. And guess what happens? Wrong side of the equation. Now, tonight I want to do something a little bit different on this because we understand the problem has been there. We understand the problem will continue with these Wall Street executives sending us false narratives. But I want to tell you why I think they're doing it. The market was up today. The Fed governors are speaking tomorrow. The labor numbers on Thursday are not going to be good. Continuing jobless claims are growing. And then we have corporate earnings coming in all this week and next week. And those corporate earnings for fourth quarter are not going to be particularly good. But why is this happening? Why do they continually tell you the Federal Reserve is going to stop when they know they're not going to stop? Why they keep on telling you false facts and false analysis? Here's my opinion of why they're doing it. They don't really particularly make money when you sell. They make money when you buy. They make money when there's activity. They want you to buy and sell. They want you to buy and reinvest and sell here and buy there. If you're sitting on the sideline with cash saying, you know what, I don't want to get in this market. It's too volatile. It's too risky. I can't assess the risk. It's too confusing. It's up and down. If they see that, they're not happy because they make money on the transactional activity. You buy 100 shares, $1,000, they make 8% or whatever it is, or 3% on the transaction. You don't buy anything, they don't make money. And yet, what's important to know is that the economy is getting weaker. The latest consumer credit data released tonight, obtained by LALATE News, shows that more individuals borrowed in the month of November than the prior month. Here we go. I almost dropped the script. I did drop the script. We've been talking about on this channel for months. Stop spending. Reduce credit card spending. It's going to be more expensive as Jay Powell raises rates. Spending went even higher in the month of November, says the Federal Reserve in data released today. It's not data released by a bank. It's data released by the Federal Reserve. They say, you're spending too much money. And that's because they think that people can pay it off. Maybe they can't. Individuals borrowed $28 billion in the month of November, which came in above what the Federal Reserve was looking for. The Federal Reserve thought that the American consumer was borrowing $25 billion in November. They borrowed $28 billion. But it's an improvement over October where they spent $29 million. Now let's understand. You spent the money in October. You borrowed the money in October, you haven't paid it off, and now you're borrowing more money in the month of November on top of that. Yeah, this is not getting good. Over in the rest of the market, Toll Brothers was up today on an upgrade from Raymond James. And then let me go to this quote. This is sort of what I was just referring to. This sort of everything is beautiful. You're going to be fine. Buy. I just want to say goodbye to this type of analysis. ARK Innovation ETF was up 5% today. This is, of course, Kathy Woods' ARK ETF that is heavily invested in Tesla. Tesla's up today, and so ARK was up 5%. Tesla's trading at nearly a 2-year low, folks. So why would this even be a story? It's up 5%. Great. The whole market was up 5% today. Tesla's down, a gazillion percent in the last 2 years. So the fact that this is even a story, let alone I'm even recording it, is much of this. Everything is beautiful. Keep on buying. Oh no, it's down, but keep on buying. Oh, it's still down. Buy some more. No, no, no. The markets really fell apart later in the day when they realized that, or someone realized that what they're doing is not assessing risk and continuing to piling on more nonsense on top of other nonsense. Bank of America upgraded Helmrich and Payne and Core Laboratories. Interesting. They like the fundamentals, which is always big. Ferrari, which is in its whole different type of economic analysis, is a big pick from Bank of America. That stock has been up a lot. It was up 6% as well today. Let's go over where the day started, and this is what's fundamentally important. When you're looking at a recession, you go down about 40%, and we are not in the recession. So the real heart of the recession starts in February for 2 years, I'm predicting. The NASDAQ is down 35% from its all-time high. It is 60% up from the pandemic. It is flat for the month, flat for the year, but it finally broke a 4 weeks losing streak last week. The Dow is doing the reverse. The Dow is just 9% off its all-time high. So the Dow has a long way to go down. Piper Sandler upgraded Uber today based upon the concept that new cars are too expensive. They are. And that consumers rather get an Uber than fix a car. Fascinating analysis. I love that Piper Sandler. It's very fascinating. And then nurses at 2 New York hospitals went on strike today, Monday, at the time of this broadcast, in a dispute over pay. Those are Metafiore Medical Center in Bronx and Mount Sinai in Manhattan. The governor's trying to urge them to get back to work and maybe figure out their salary disputes across the board. But here is the big problem with this market. The big problem with this market is that every day, every week, they're selling the Brooklyn Bridge. It's the same story every day, every week, and it's been going on for over a year. And I said last weekend it's going to continue all this year until finally something goes wrong. Let me tell you what's going on. The Federal Reserve is not stopping their interest rate spikes until we're at 2%. They're not stopping at 4%. They're not stopping at 5%. They're not stopping at 6%. It's at 8%. They got to go to 2%. So we're going to be doing this all year long, interest rate spikes every month until they get to 2%. And the Federal Reserve said that. In fact, they said we'll go into 2024. But every day, every week, and it seems almost every hour, Wall Street tells you, or someone on Wall Street tries to tell you, the Federal Reserve is going to stop. No, the Federal Reserve is not going to stop. They're trying to sell you the Brooklyn Bridge, these Wall Street executives, every single day. And this is dangerous. Why is it dangerous? This is what we refer to as bubble talk. When you're saying things that are wrong, that you know are wrong because you're trying to incite activity in the direction you want to go, which is buy, bull, when it's really a bear market, this eventually falls apart. It's a stack of cards. It's a little bit like a pyramid scheme. Buy. Why? The market was a good economic data? No. But buy. Was there a good economic? No, there was no good economic data. But I could tell you what the economic data was bad. But buy. And then finally, everyone wakes up one day and says, wait a second. Who are these Wall Street analysts that keep on telling me to buy? And what I'm predicting is that there's going to be a massive market crash caused by a wake-up call when Fed governor, Fed chair, or Fed action says, you know what? We are raising rates because inflation has not moved for a very long time. Let's make clear what inflation's policy is of the Federal Reserve. It needs to go to 2%. And the longer it stays at 8%, the longer it stays above 2%, it's dangerous to the U.S. economy. That's absolutely correct. Inflation cannot become embedded in the economy because you get used to $12 eggs. And no one gets used to $12 eggs ever under my watch. They need to get inflation down. They haven't gotten it down. And they have a long way to go to 2%. They're not stopping at 4 or 5%. They have a long way to go to 2%. And the more that Wall Street analysts keep on feeding a false narrative that there's going to be something done by the Federal Reserve other than what they say at the Federal Reserve, it's going to cause a massive market crash. I got to tell you, days like this, days like Friday, where the market rallied up 700 points for no reason whatsoever, when they took 20 data points in one report and removed 19 of them to use one for their benefit of saying buy, that's bubble talk. That's bubble talk. That's where things are run under false narratives, and then when people realize they were making mistakes, everything turns to the negative. It's sort of what happened today. The market up 200, 300 points at one point and then going back down. They need to stop doing that. But ultimately, what you need to do is assess risk. You assess risk by getting as much stimulus as possible. Assessing risk, what risk do you have? 2-year recession. 2-year recession starting in February. A 2-year recession which compares to a 6-month lockdown because of COVID. This ain't 6 months, this is 2 years. And in a recession, a lot of things go south. People get laid off, and there's no other job available for them. Series of reports say Americans believe that there's always going to be a job available for them, even in this economy. Not possible. If it is a pervasive recession that hits all parts of the economy, a 2-year recession, they're not assessing the risk. What you do is to get as much stimulus as you can. You get stimulus and you keep on adding to the stimulus. You become a member. You go right in this video, become a Purple Hawk, Purple Power Casino VIP. 2023 is a great year for stimulus because of the combination of 3 years of stimulus. It's a combination of 3 years of stimulus and stimulus for all my different viewers. So why would you not get the stimulus? Go into this video, become a member, then go right into the newsletter and get every stimulus check you can get and keep on getting more of it all the time. Let's remember that in 2020, we didn't have a newsletter. In 2021, we didn't have a newsletter open 24 hours a day. And now you have a newsletter that's open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I've done all the work for you. And in 2020, we didn't have $200,000 of stimulus. Now we do. So why would you roll the dice and risk it all? Don't do that. Don't do that. You want to get as much stimulus as you can, remove your debt, raise your savings. Because ultimately, guess where we are? Stage 3. We're in stage 3, folks. Stage 3 is January 2023 to January 2024, potentially even further. And you don't want to risk any of this. You want to do what you need to do. Go into this video, step 1, and become a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power Casino VIP. Step 2, go into that newsletter right now at news.lalate.com/newsletter. And start applying for these incredible stimulus checks. Grab any stimulus check you can. This is stimulus checks for you, SSI, Ssdi, Social Security, Rural Benefits, Veterans Benefits. Stimulus checks for you, low income, $75,000 less, married couple, $150,000 less. Stimulus checks A, C, E, K, L, and Q. And then my business owners, stimulus check R. My unemployed people, or fired unemployed people. The beautiful stimulus check for you as well, and the PEBT stimulus. Big week, and we're just getting started. And boy, what a day it has been. From the shores of San Marcos, California, get all the money you deserve. Do not risk it. Assess your risk and do everything you need to do to get as much stimulus as you can. Stay informed, stay focused. Join me throughout the night as the programming continues. Become a member, subscribe. Make sure your alert is set to all on, and stay with LALATE for more.